Hey Shug, I'm back. Let's talk. So, it's been a couple weeks. For some reason, I have just kind of been procrastinating filming. I don't know why, because I'm starting to like it a lot. I think it's just, I hate the way that I look on camera. If I could wear a paper bag, honey, I would. So I think that's what it is. But nonetheless, life continues. We're still moving on. Okay, so we got a couple options today. I think we're just gonna pick up with part 3 first of my life story. But I'm gonna be going back and plugging in stories, going in more depth, I would say, on some parts of my life. But today we're gonna pick up on the timeline pretty much where we last left off. I was staying with my sister after I got rid of my apartment and got rid of all my stuff to move to Colorado. So my sister's my best friend. She's my twin sister. I knew I wanted to spend my last night with her and her kids. So I did. So I went over there and we were just eating popcorn we made like a little bed on the floor and we're watching movies with the kids and it was nice. And I was already so nervous as it was, doing this. I've never been away from my sister forever, And she was dating this guy that she'd been with for, at the time, 6 years, I want to say. Perfect guy. Took on the kids, was really sweet, but just like the perfect guy. And my sister had been having a feeling lately that something was off, and I wanted to doubt her because everything was so perfect, but I know that our family has like a gift. Like my mom and sister get like visions of things and they always come true, and I have a very strong intuition. I can usually feel a person or what's going on. And we were just sitting there, and it's crazy how if God wants something to come to light, it will. We get a call from our cousin that, on our dad's side, that we don't talk to really at all. Like, just because we've just grown into different directions, nothing crazy. But they call us and they tell us that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and that he just got beat up at work. And my sister, God, she's just, bless her heart, intuition. She looked at me and she told him thank you, and she hung up. And we started immediately packing up his shit. She was so upset, poor thing. I cried with her because it was just so sad. And she caught him cussing him out. And I guess the person that he was cheating on her with, someone at their job, it was someone from his job, this girl. He ended up getting beat up by the person, her boyfriend or something like that. But it was awful. I'm like, how am I supposed to leave my sister now that she just became a single mom overnight? And she's my twin, so whatever we feel, the other one feels. And God, it was so hard. I didn't want to go. I decided right then and there that I was going to stay. I was like, I'm staying, and that's that. And we cried, and she wouldn't let me stay. She told me I have to get on that plane. She pretty much made me, and I thank God every day that she did, honestly, because we would never be where we are now. It was tough, man. So I woke up the next day, and I got on that plane. It was so scary. I'd never even been on a plane. That was the first time I ever flew anywhere. My God, that was awful. I'm not gonna lie. I hated flying at first. I'm afraid of heights, and that was horrible. I got on a little plane called a puddle jumper, but it's like these teeny little planes that for like short rides for like 30 minutes. They put me next to a guy that was bigger than me. I started freaking out. I was screaming, "We're all gonna die. They're gonna crash the plane." And these old people in the front seat in front of me were trying to calm me down. But hey, it wasn't working. I was freaking out. Like my whole world was like falling beneath my feet, figuratively, and I thought it was really going to happen. So I land, and when I moved here, I lived in a hotel. I didn't know anybody, I had never been here. I'll never forget that first night. It was scary. I cried, because I just felt so alone. I had left the person that I loved that I knew wasn't good for me, and I was getting sober again. I had sold everything I owned, left everything I knew, and everything going on with my sister. I could feel her heartache even from across the country. It was my heartache too now, It was just so scary. And the next day I had to wake up, and I had worked at a restaurant. I won't say the name of it, but I had transferred to this location. Funny thing is, I ended up transferring. I was supposed to go to a worse location. I didn't know it was bad because I had never been here. But I went to the wrong one, and they accepted me anyway. The manager was like, I didn't know we were getting somebody new, but come on in, we'll get you started. So that was lucky. But so the next day I had to start a new job too, and it was just crazy. I had nothing but 2 bags of clothes with me and the shoes on my feet. And all I knew was that I wanted better for myself, you know? It was just tough. Being in a place you didn't know anyone. Like I said, I literally walked to work on feet because I didn't have a car at the time. And so that's what I did. I walked to work every day, and I got 2 jobs. I got another job at a hotel. And I had to be up at that job at 4 a.m. So I worked every single day from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. both jobs, and I walked to both. And it was rough, man. When I first moved here, I met this customer because I was a server, and she was really, really sweet. She was beautiful. Her name was Anastasia, and she worked for this apartment also. She's pretty high up on the ladder. She does the makeup and hair for the Avs, the Denver Nuggets, all the fancy teams. But she also was working for like a private company, just doing like side gigs in the offices of apartments. So she was telling me, I told her, you know, that I was living in a hotel, and she was like, well, I have a person in my apartment that needs a roommate. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, like whatever. I was receptive to anything. I'm like, anything has to be better than this, you know, the stress of knowing that I had to work today in order to pay for my room over my head tonight, you know, that was stressful. So I went and met the guy. His name was Nate. He seemed a little weird, but pretty normal, you know. And I have a good intuition too, and I was like, something feels off, but I was like, you know, we'll deal with it as it comes. How bad can it be? Pretty bad, actually. So I moved with him. He turns out to be like mentally ill, severely, poor thing, like severely. Oh Lord, like I don't know. I thought he was on drugs, but he wasn't. It turned out he was just dealing with crazy mental illnesses. Like one time, he showed up at my work. He had never even been at my work before. I'm like walking around behind the scenes in the kitchen doing drinks, and I turn around and bump into him. He's in my job in the kitchen. No, everyone's looking around like, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm letting this blank look on his face, and he doesn't know who he is or where he is, but somehow he knows me. So I like walk him out of there, and I grab his phone and I call his parents. I'm like, what is going on with your son? Something's wrong with him. They inform me about his mental illnesses. I'm like, okay, great. So no one told me about that. I didn't know what to do. So they called, and we got him admitted to a hospital. So he was gone for like 2 weeks, and I was just like a little shaken up because that was like really weird, you know. I was already living with him, and he was just a little weird, like very manic, I would say, like highly manic. So he ends up getting out, and he was like mad at me for getting him help, and I'm like, so did the help work? Or because it's giving that if you're mad at me, honey, the help didn't work, you know. So a little time goes by. Fine, great, cool. I have a friend bring me home to work, and when you pull up to these apartments, you can see the balconies up there. And I look up and I see this girl with blonde hair and this skirt on. So I didn't think nothing. I just glanced up, saw them, but they were by my apartment. So I go up to my house, and why the fuck is it him? He's got a wig on. He's dressed in women's clothes. Okay? This guy's not gay. He's not a cross-dresser or nothing. Like, it was crazy. I was like, what the fuck? He, like, had a girl name and believed he was a woman. Like, it was the craziest shit I have ever seen. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this, you know? So I walk in to the apartment, and I'm getting ready for bed. And like I said, we have that gift of my family. My instincts just told me something. He's never been violent or nothing. My instinct said to put my bed in front of the door if I go to sleep tonight. I don't know why I felt that way, and I almost didn't do it, but I did. So I moved the bed in front of the door. I fall asleep, and I wake up to hear the door bang into the bed. And I see a knife come through the door, and I wake up freaking out. He's like banging on the door, like flipping out, dude. Like, doesn't even know where he is, like saying, why aren't you letting me in? Like trying to get in my room, and I was so, oh my God, I was scared. So I run into the closet, and I call 911, and I tell the operator what's happening, and then they're like, what's he wearing? And I was stutter. I was like, this is gonna sound like a prank, but it's not. They're like, what's he wearing? I said, he has on a skirt and a wig, and he has on a knife. And I just hear silence on the other line. So the lady was like, we've got someone coming out to you. So finally the cops come. I am so fucking scared. I didn't leave the room until they came, they apprehended him pretty much. So I come out there and explain to them what's going on. He tries to tell the cops that he's wearing that outfit because he's doing laundry. Like, girl, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you have women's clothes in the house anyway? You know what I mean? We're 2 guys. So they were like, you know, you're not on. The best thing you can do is we can't take him. He hasn't committed any crimes, even though he tried to kill me, but whatever. So they asked me, and I said, can you stay while I grab all my stuff? And I grabbed all my stuff. And it was 3 a.m. in the middle of summer. You know, this is a busy place, Denver, Colorado. All the hotels were booked. I had nowhere to stay. I worked at a hotel, but, you know, it was the middle of the night. So I went to my job and I slept on the floor in the kitchen, because I was working in the restaurant there too. I slept on the floor in the kitchen. And I remember I was getting my own place, but I didn't tell anybody because I was, I just didn't want him to know, you know, because I didn't know he was going to act with everything. But I still had 10 days before I could even move into it. The guy that owned the hotel, bless his heart, he was so sweet. They let me, I was so tired because I only got like an hour of sleep because I had to be at that job at 4. So I remember sleeping in between the jobs, and they let me, give me a conference room, and then it was so sweet, like a bathroom to use, and I slept on the floor in there. And I called my apartment. They said if I paid extra that I could get in that day. So I had to call off my second job, and I went there and got into the apartment. And oh God, I was so lucky for that. But it was crazy. And all in the meantime, I'm trying to maintain sobriety, which I did. You know, I'm far away from my family. I don't know anybody, and I don't have anything. And I'm just trying to figure out. You know, I have big dreams, and I believe in myself. And I wanted to start my business, my interior design business. You know, and that's all I knew. And all my life with the abuse and not having any parents and the things that I've been through, people always try to put me down and tell me I couldn't do stuff, and I knew that I could. And I told myself, as long as I have myself, that's all I need, you know? And with a dream and $600, I made it happen, you know? So that's kind of the story and how I got here. There's a lot more. There'll probably be a part 4 also of some more things that have got me to where I am, you know? Like I said, I'm going to do some more stories in between as well, of some memories of things I've been through with my parents and stuff, just to kind of give them depth of things that I've been through in life, I guess, you know. There are going to be some crazy stories, but they're all going to be true, obviously. So stay tuned for that. But missed you guys. I'm going to try to film more. I have a new ring light coming and a new stand. I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait. So, and I've just been preparing for Christmas, you know. The kids want all these expensive things, but we're making it work. We're making it work. Almost got everything done. I got my best friend's gift, my sister's stuff done. So this is usually my favorite time of the year. Like, if you know me, you know that I love snow and I love the holidays, but it just hasn't felt like it this year for the first time ever in my life. And I've been through a lot of stuff on holidays. I've had holidays ruined, and I've been alone on them, and I still always made the best of them. And I think it's because the weather here, it's abnormally warm. It's like 60 degrees today. Like, we only had snow once. It just doesn't feel like winter, and that kind of sucks for me, you know? So, I guess I'm just kind of hanging on and hoping that some snow comes soon, and we have some big plans coming up for the next year. Also, I think my next video is going to be starting my business series. We're going to go through the very first steps, because I have my own interior design business, but now I'm starting my own hospitality business with my sister. So, because we're opening our own bed and breakfast, like I keep saying. So I'm going to show you the next video I'm going to film is going to show you like the first steps on what to do as I'm doing it in real time. So love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.